my other key bait that I used pitching reeds was I went to a lighter jig. You know, I'm a jig fanatic, and they really weren't biting the big jig right now. It's really not that time of year, but I wanted to give them a different look to follow up to the stinger. So I went with a half-ounce Jigzilla, you know, Gambler Jigzilla, and I put a big, bulky Star Flash shirt on it in a big chunk. I wanted a real small, slow fall, you know, and I was pitching in isolated clumps, even individual, you know, round reed clumps, and it was something different. You know, I know most of the guys are probably pitching soft plastics, but I wanted to give them a different look. Sorry, dogs are out here barking and fighting over a coconut. But again, I pitched this on an Invoker 7.6 heavy. See it right there. This rod is, again, I can't say enough about this rod. It is so versatile. Again, anything 3/4 ounce or lower. This rod right here is the deal. I was throwing it on 50-pound braid because I didn't want to affect the fall too much. It was already falling pretty slow, and with it being windy, you know, the 65 slows the rate of the fall down a little bit. But this Gamma Tort, and again, Gamma's not one of my sponsors, but I love their braid. It's some strong stuff. The diameter is real super thin. It doesn't fray. It's green already. Kind of blends in with the grass. You don't really have to paint it. But you know, this bait right here caught some key keepers. You know, in the tournament. And then my other bait, you know, I was throwing a prop bait on out in Harney Pond. You know, yesterday it slicked off, and I had one great big giant fish eat my prop bait, you know, 2 times, and I had her hooked up, and unfortunately she came off. But you know, I was going behind boats, you know, that were casting, throwing chatter baits and throwing the prop bait, and Arc has really got it dialed in. I think this is the perfect topwater rod. Again, it's the Arc Invoker series, but this is a 7.3. It says it's a mag medium heavy, but it's got a soft tip on it, but it's got plenty of backbone. And you know, when you're working those prop baits, you know, anytime you're using anything with treble hooks, you don't want too stiff of a tip. So this rod's really, really dialed in. A buddy of mine that fishes the Elite Series played with this rod a little bit while we were out fishing, and he even mentioned that, and he's a big topwater guy, that it's got the right tip, you know. So check this one out. You know, check them all out. The 7.3, the 7.4, the 7.6. And then, you know, our mat rod, our 7.11. You know, I really wasn't on a mat bite to say. You know, I caught a couple small ones that didn't really help. But you know, if you're in the top waters, you know, prop baits, spooks, you know, double prop baits, whatever it might be. You know, the whopper plopper. I wouldn't throw the big whopper plopper on this, but maybe the smaller one. This rod would handle easy. It also is a great, great, great swim jig rod, especially in open water where you're not throwing a super heavy swim jig. This 7.3 mag medium heavy. And again, guys, you can find all those at Bowling Martin Marina or Okeechobee Fishing Headquarters. Pretty soon you'll be able to order them on the website. But again, you know, give them a shout, give them a look. The new Gambler Stinger should be hitting the stores. I think they're already en route. I was using black and blue, and I was using Gold Rush. And the cool thing about this bait is it's got a rib design, but it has a flat side, and more importantly, it's got the perfect thickness. And the reason why that's so important is when you're fishing in a lot of cover, you don't want a bait where your hook point's constantly popping through, because it's inefficient. And the more efficient you are, the more pitches you can make in a day, and obviously the more opportunities you have to put your bait in front of a big one. You know, I caught a 7.2 the first day and an 8 yesterday on this bait. Actually, both of those 8 Gold Rush, but I can't show you the Gold Rush color because I completely ran out of them. And you know, when the water's real clear, it's a color that I designed with Val years back. You know, I was begging for something that had some watermelon gold and June bug mixture, so we came up with that color, I think, one night at midnight. And if you've ever used a Mega Daddy on the back of a jig in Gold Rush, well, that's why. But take a look at this bait. I think this bait's going to be phenomenal. It's a super efficient bait.